Okay, thank you for joining us today for our Active Maps from 3DO Beyond a Map webinar. And this webinar is about building your data narrative. And let's begin. So my name's Ian Thompson and I'm the commercial director at a company called 3DEO here in the UK. We're based in North Shields and in Belfast in Northern Ireland. Personally, I have 15 years experience of selling SaaS products into various industries around the world, including construction and infrastructure, haulage and logistics, manufacturing, and oil and gas. Here at Active Maps, we combine mapping and 3D visualization of both the environment and the data around it. We provide a single window on asset, environment, and operational data, as well as integration with systems, sensors, and IoT devices. All the data that we bring into our system from your systems is live. We can compare historic data, which allows you to compare change over time. All of your data, information, assets and site are visualized in context, in location on the map and in 3D. And it's delivered via a browser, so accessible anywhere. Okay, so beyond the map, building your data narrative. So this is all about how we tell stories and how we communicate the data that you're gathering every day. The agenda is we're going to run through some basics of the Active Maps platform. I'm going to show you how we build a data story, and then we'll discuss at the end how we get further engagement from our stakeholders, and that could be people within your organization who have data, and it could be stakeholders outside of the organization who need to understand it. So our Active Maps platform can be broken down into 4 key streams: integration, visualization, analyzing data, and communicating that data. So when we talk about integrating, we seamlessly integrate data from sensors that you already have or want to purchase, IoT devices, CCTV cameras, your ERP systems, trackers that you've got on your assets, whether it's a vehicle, a plane, a ferry, whatever it happens to be. And we bring all of that into our Active Maps platform for you to visualize. All of your data is presented in user-friendly formats, such as 3D graphs and charts, time-based tables and camera feeds. And I'm going to give you some live examples of the software in a moment or two. When the data is on the platform, you've got the ability to analyze it, so you can combine data sets, view data sets, and download real-time and historical data from all of your range of data sources. We will help you make better decisions. Because of the nature of what we do, we know there's big players in the market, some big GIS platforms, but you have to be a data specialist, a GIS specialist in order to operate those systems. And if you can't, you're having to put requests in for reports to those people. Our platform allows you to view your data very, very easily and communicate the data that's in there in a much more easy fashion than you can currently do with those other systems. Now, I'll show you what I mean by that in a moment or two. So if we look at this pyramid, this is what we want to achieve. We've got data at the bottom and we've got wisdom at the top. What we've got and what everybody has at the minute is a whole load of data at the bottom. Everybody's got data. It's individual stats, it's facts, figures, signals, measurements, all that kind of stuff. It's probably in a spreadsheet, but unless you know what you're looking for, it's probably useless as that data stage. What we want to do is we want to turn that data into information. So we want to organize it, structure it, categorize it, and make it useful. And when we've done that, you get more knowledge from it. So all of that data and information suddenly becomes knowledge, and that means ideas, learnings, it's been thought out, and you can discuss it with other people. And ultimately, wisdom. That's the understanding of that original data. We've passed it up that pyramid. We've got rid of all the bits that don't matter to us, and we've told a good story. So you've now got wisdom. It can be used for better decision making. So let me switch screens and I'm going to show you our Active Maps platform. So here you can see a map. And we like to refer to this almost as Google Maps Plus, because it's a platform that people are relatively familiar with. When you're looking for a restaurant or trying to find an Uber, you'll be presented with a map like this. Our map is fully interactive, though. It's not just a map. It's a map with the content that you want on it in its locational context. The system has the ability to have map layers built into it, so we can show different things. So in this case, we've just got an outdoor layer on, but we could very, very easily switch that to a satellite layer. And again, the user can do this themselves. They're not having to wait for somebody to do it for them. And if you've got your own layers that you want to put in, it might be an estate map, it could be anything really. You're able to do that within the system as well. We'll just go back to a different view, I think, just for now. So on this quayside, we've got buildings. So somebody's put their buildings in on their estate. And if we click on those buildings, we can bring through more information about the site. So that can be photographs, it can be documents, it could be URLs. So if you've got a tourism need if you want to communicate some of your tourist facilities, you're able to build up a layer that just shows them and all the information about the assets that you have in that location. Close that. I'm going to change the map layer again. I think we'll go to, let's say, streets. We zoom in a little bit more. We don't only put static assets on a map. The idea is that this map is active all the time and it's feeding you data all the time. So if I click on the camera and we click on the camera that we want, you can see there that we can bring through the feed from we can bring through a feed from a CCTV camera in location on the site, which again, really handy if you want to see what's going on. So I'm going to show you some air quality sensors and things in a minute. The idea is that you're able to compare them. So you're able to have your window open with your live CCTV camera on there. And if you've been alerted by the system, because the system can have alerts in it, that there's a spike in pollutants in the air, be able to log in, see where those spikes are, because the system will tell you, and then you be able to bring up a camera to see why. So we don't just give you the what's going on, we give you the where it's going on, and you're able to understand the why. So if we move along the quayside a little bit more, and we click on this sensor, we can bring up some air quality data. And all this information is live, so it's coming through in context to where the sensor is. So we can see all the live data coming through. And the platform is fully sensor agnostic. So that means that you can buy your sensors, your cameras, your access point, whatever it is, you can buy them from any manufacturer you want, and you can put them all into this map. So this map is a sensor agnostic integration platform that brings all of your data into one place very, very easily. Now, that was the live data I showed you. If I click on this tab here, and we'll just give it a second or two to load up. Sometimes my laptop can take a moment or two when I'm sharing the camera and sharing the screen and things like that. But in a moment or two, we'll be able to see all of the information over a time period. There we are, that's coming off that air sensor. So by default, we've got CO, we've got NO, and we've got NO2 being displayed on the map. And we see there's various spikes of each all over the place. You want to see some different telemetry streams, we can do that as well. The user can do it just by selecting from the side menu there the data streams that they would like to see. So we're comparing data streams, we're comparing them over time, and we're able to see them in context of where they are on a map. Now, some people have already gone on the journey for AI and machine learning cameras. And our system is capable of working with those two. So we can bring the data from those machine learning devices. So in this case, the cameras, if I just turn the camera on again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to press the toggle button. And I'm going to spin my map around a little bit. I'm going to zoom out just so I can explain what I'm talking about. So you can see here a purple triangle, and this is the field of vision of this camera. So we know what the camera is looking at. Now, inside the field of vision, you can see a number of polygons. This big green polygon is the machine learning off the camera. The camera is telling the system the number of vehicles that have passed that field of vision. The blue is the number of people who've walked past it, and the orange is the number of bicycles that have walked past it. So we're able to display that data in 3D in context on the map. And the last thing I'm going to show you in this map is these big green structures. So let me zoom out a little bit. So these green structures aren't towers in the facility. These are 3D representations of people walking past. So there are some devices on this quayside that are pinging out for mobile phones. And when those phones ping back, we're capable of tracking the pings and showing you the journey that people are going on around the estate. So lots of ways to bring in data, and I'm going to try and tell the story in something a little bit more live for you in a moment or two. But that's what the platform looks like. This is how we bring data in, and this is how it's displayed to you. So we can do lots of things. We can plot static assets such as buildings, and you're able to give them more context with things like photographs, URLs, and documents. So you're able to build a picture of what's going on and who the tenants are on the estate. It'll bring through those CCTV feeds, whether it's just a simple feed or there's machine learning and AI and there's more data attached to the video footage, we can display that to you as well. With the air quality, again, we can display it live in context, in location of where that sensor is, but also bring through the historical information. So what was the temperature, what was the humidity, all that kind of stuff yesterday, what was it like an hour ago? All of that can come through in the system and be displayed in a single pane of glass. So let me minimize that and let's go back to this presentation. So let's put a little bit more meat on the bones about what I was talking about there. So this is a map of a local area, and in this local area there's lots of activity going on. And for this demo we're going to talk about the harbour operations. So if I go to the next slide, we've got a vessel. Vessels go in and out of this harbour all day. So the vessel's moving, and the vessel has emissions. So the boat operator, the vessel operator, is calculating emissions all the time. So lots of data in a spreadsheet. However often they're recording it, but they're recording all about the different chemicals and different fumes coming off that vessel. They're also tracking the location of that vessel. So the vessel has a tracker on it, so they know where it is, which is great. But again, just sits in a spreadsheet or a table somewhere else. So you've got two very easy to understand data silos there: emissions and tracking data. Now, landside, the harbour operator or the local authority, they've got lots of things like air sensors, air quality sensors. On a map, now I spoke to somebody this week who said that they do something similar somewhere else. It's not around here, it's somewhere else, where they have a map in their office and there's just pins all over the map that show different things. In their case, it was cameras. So here they've gone a step further. We've got little markers on the map that show where those air quality sensors are. Now, those air quality sensors are making readings all the time, but again, just goes back into spreadsheets and databases. Doesn't really mean a lot unless you know what you're looking for. It's just a list every minute of what the readings are around there. So let's bring this data to life by combining different data sources and combining mapping and 3D visualization of the environment and the data. We're able to do something very, very clever. So let's combine all that data and make it tell a story. So if I press play, what you're able to see here is the blue shape at the top that's moving. That's the ship. We're using the tracking data to bring it into its locational context on our map. And the graphs that you can see around the coastline that are moving up and down, the blue, the red, the yellow, they are the fumes being recorded by the air sensors that the harbour operator and the local authority have. So now they've got the context, now they have the full story about why their sensors were spiking with different chemicals and different emissions at a certain time. So what we've done is we've combined those different data sources and we've told the full story. So this comes back to what I said right at the start. We combine mapping and 3D visualization of both the environment and the data. By doing that, we help you make better decisions going forward. And just to repeat what I said earlier, we've done that by integrating data from different sources, visualizing it in its locational context on a map, We've given our customers the ability to analyze it. So what's going on? It's not just a number. It's not just a spike in a graph. We give everybody the ability to understand all the other things that play out at the same time in the same area, so people can understand fully what's going on. And because it's in a map-based format that people are used to seeing, we've got the tools there to have public-facing dashboards, should you need them, in order to communicate that data out in easy to understand ways. Which brings us back to our pyramid. We've taken raw data, we've turned it into structured information, made it categorized and useful. We've turned that into knowledge. So we've been able to do learning from it. It's thought out. We can discuss it. And ultimately, it's become wisdom. We've understood what was going on in those locations at those times that made those graphs go up and go back down. So you can use it for better decision making going forward. So I hope I've covered everything I said I would at the start. The Q&A option in Microsoft Teams is available. Feel free to type your questions in there. I'm more than happy to answer them. Or you can drop me an email privately, i.thompson@3do.com, and I'll come back to you as soon as I can. That's i.thompson@3do.com.